All right, so welcome to another one for Al Cuerpo Boxing, which means to the body. So let's get with it. Let's talk some boxing. So we just saw Boots Ennis versus Emilianis Stanionis. So we can just say Stanionis, right? Really good scrap. I had predicted actually that Boots would stop Stanionis. I had said the ninth round, but obviously it was earlier than that, right? It went up the full 6 rounds, but the team decided to close it out and not continue in the seventh. So it's an official TKO on the seventh round, right? Nonetheless, man, as I keep saying, Boots Ennis is a special welterweight fighter. With that being said, I want to see Homie at 154. I think it's time for him. And you know what? To his credit, I think he did bulk up. They calibrated nicely for this fight with Stanionis. Not so much that would benefit him at 154 because if he were to go to 154, they'll bulk up even more. But that was a good calibration plan to withstand some of the resistance from Stanionis because Stanionis in general is a lot more heavy set than a guy like Lipinets, if you will, right? Lipinets, who's also a come forward strong pressure fighter, really good shot selection too. Um, if I recall, Lipinets comes from a kickboxing background, so the dude's super athletic. So, anyways, I and many of you agree that Stanionis is a good throwback fighter. The dude comes to fight, man, real gritty fighter. And so with that, I really liked, the Philly showmanship from Boots Ennis that he had to show up in this unification bout, man, to get that ring strap, right? So now the latest talks is where does Boots go from here, right? I say he should go to 154, but there's particular context as to why. All right. So let's start off with like Mario Barrios, right, with his belt, the WBC belt, if I'm not mistaken, right? PBC, they're not gonna risk Barrios's belt with Boots Ennis. Nah, hells no. They need that belt, whichever name it may be. They need that belt so they can sell more fights on Amazon Prime. Good for them. Best of luck to them to do that, right? Then we got Norman Jr. with Top Rank, a Top Rank who might do partnership with PBC right in September, right? And they all go on Amazon Prime. But with Norman Jr., they had already rejected a pretty good offer from Matchroom, right, from Eddie Hearn. More than 1.5 million. If I'm not mistaken, it was like 1.8 million or 1.7 that they had received. But the Norman family wanted like more than 2 million, like 2.1, 2.2 million they wanted. Good for them too, man. You gotta play hardball, good for them. All right, but now check it out. Now Boots Ennis with two straps, right? WBO and WBA, if I'm not mistaken, plus the ring belt, right? With the ring belt now, guys. So in a way, that initial offer could either stand, that offer being to the Norman Jr. camp, right? Um, because even though Boots Ennis's value has risen, right? Man, guys, he's got the ring belt now, right? He's unified champion. He fought the best at 147. I guess maybe it's debatable between you guys if you want to value or compare Stanionis, Norman Jr., and Barrios, but I would say for the most part, for the whole balanced out scheme of things, that was a good win. Regardless, unified champ, top dog at 147, Jaron Boots Ennis. And I think his power is going to carry up nicely to 154, right? He's going to look a lot more filled at 154. So don't worry. What you see right now, 147, that's not how he's going to look at 154. I even said that this fight with Stanionis was going to be like the Jamal Charlo versus Castaño. I had predicted a stoppage. So in theory, would have been the Castano rematch, right? The second bout. A fight in which Jermell Charlo also looked drained on the scales. They also calibrated some more resistance to go against like Castano to ensure that he would win and that they would ensure that the PBC were, I guess, promised an undisputed championship with Jermell Charlo, right? So that was all calibrated for that destiny, that goal. And so now here we are with Boots Ennis, who's on the zone, who's repping Matchroom, right? I've been asking if he renewed with Hearn, if now he's solo, if there was the last fight, whatever. But now he's got the rebound, now he's got two belts. It would make sense that Matchroom's gonna want to offer Boots a new deal, a new contract, a better contract than before. A contract now improved with Riyadh season with Turkey Al Sheikh, right? So it's a double-edged sword because now, if they really do want Norman Jr., because forget about Mario Barros, forget about them offering a fight to Mario Barros. I don't think the PBC. It's uncertain yet if the PBC is gonna do business with Top Rank. We don't know yet. So with that in mind, let's assume that PBC is gonna be secure and safe to maintain that WBC belt. WBC, right? It's always a WBC and PBC, but that belt with Mario Barrios. All right. So don't expect a unification or to even entertain an offer with or an offer from Eddie Hearn, right, for that unification bout. So with that being said, let's say I would imagine that now I would, if I was the Norman Jr. camp, I would take the initial offer from Hearn. In reality, they could ask for more now, right? Because even though Boots' value has risen now with three belts, what I mean by three is because that includes the Ring magazine belt, prestigious historical belt. In a way, Hearn and Boots and Riyadh season, they need another belt, man. So in theory, they should offer more to Norman Jr. Now, forgive me. I don't want to make it seem like I'm making it more difficult, that it gives an excuse or a reason for the Norman Jr. family to ask for more. But let's say now we got three belts, right? Ring, and then we need Norman's IBF, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or is it Norman that's got the WBO or the IBF? I mean, I'm sorry, man. What does it matter? But maybe they should offer Norman Jr. that 2.2 from 1.7, given the circumstances now, with Boots Ennis looking better, more filled. I would still pick Boots Ennis to beat Norman Jr. at this rate. So with that being said, let them do the 2.2. Give them that. And let's get three belts. Now check it out, guys. Here's the dilemma. Let's say they get three straps. And in the worst case scenario, they never get the Mario Barrios belt, right? The WBC. We never get undisputed because of, I wouldn't say so much the politics, but hey, man, every business for their own, man. Everybody's got to survive in this, right? So the PBC don't gotta do favors for anybody. They're trying to survive. They're trying to survive against the East, which is the Arabs, right? So I don't blame the PBC for not giving up that belt in a tough fight against Boots Ennis. I don't think anybody picks Mario Barrios to beat Boots Ennis. Neither did the PBC. So let's assume we never get that unification bout. And so therefore, there is no undisputed, right? As my other colleagues have said in other panels, man, as this one cat, my boy named Castro on the Rap Star channel. I think others have said it too. At least admitted that they might wait it out, right? And so we never get undisputed. And so then what's the point of Boots just staying at 147, right? It could be said, all right, well, Boots can wait out and then there's no rush to go to 154. But for me, if you guys know me, I like challenges, man. I think Boots is a special fighter at welterweight. It could be said also at 154. Let's just say he's a special fighter, man. Unified a belt, got the ring belt, a proven 150, 147 welterweight champion. And so, how would he do it at super welterweight at 154? I always say to my mates, man, all my friends, man, relax. It's good for fighters to take risks and don't make it seem like it's a huge disparity in difficulty that Boots goes up to 154 and oh my gosh, Fundura's there. Uh, who else is there as a threat? Bakram, right? Fundura, Bakram. I guess Terrence Crawford technically, right? Technically, until he relinquishes that belt with with what's his name? With Canelo Alvarez. But if Boots were to officially move up to 154, I would have him a top dog, top five, easily. Top five. And I even said before, I'd like to see a Xander Zayas versus Boots. A young Xander who will be, what, 23 this year? He's 22 right now. He's got the youth on his side, but at the same time, Boots Ennis got the experience on his side, and he's also a very skilled and talented fighter. And so could Boots do an upset and beat a guy like Fundora? Backrum, that's pushing it a bit. And the only reason I say that is because with Boots' throwback laid back style where he's not 100% defensively sound, it's not so much that I don't know, man. It's subjective. It could be careless, but I think it's more so Boots' style. And what I mean by that is I think if Boots were to be more careful in a dangerous fight, you might see a different Boots. You might see a Boots who's more responsible with the distance. A Boots that's more responsible on raising his high guard or slipping shots better than what he's currently getting caught with. As you've seen in previous fights, as you saw even in the Lipinets fights, man, he was getting clipped. Luckily, he's got a good chin, but Lipinets is smaller than Boots. But in this fight with Stanionis was waiting for some nice counter attacks, and he actually landed. So how do we say? Do we say that Boots has got the chin? He was able to roll some shots. Was Stanionis just doesn't have that type of power to really hurt Boots at the new calibrated Boots in this 147 unification? And so how does that all translate going to 154 against a young, fresh Xander Zayas? A Zayas who's not a champion himself yet, right? So again, guys, let's remind ourselves 147, this unfortunate circumstances of being elevated to full champ status. And and we got a whole culture or theme as of late mocking David's upgrade, right, to the full champion status, which again, that's the 147 division, right? So man, I just again, and I'm saying like David has the opportunity, just like all the 168s of the past, Surdo and Baru Jack, Callum Smith. Right now, we got guys like Bivol and Better be acknowledging cruiserweight. We got cruiserweights acknowledging fights with current 175 champions. Right, everybody's gonna go northbound, man. Cruiserweight. Everybody's going upwards, man. So relax, man. Don't be too afraid. It's not a big jump from well to the super as like light heavyweight to cruiserweight. Even though all these cruiserweights and light heavyweights and former 168 guys, they're all like they're all bound in that direction. So let me get a bit of this Dracula syrup. It's been a good day, guys. It's been a good day. So yeah, Boots Ennis, right? And what's crazy, guys, what's crazy is that before all this, not so long ago, right? Not long ago, sorry, before Madrimov, we had Terrence Crawford holding it down at 147. Another badass Terrence Crawford, man. A Terrence Crawford that if you were to put him in with Boots at 147, you'd pick Crawford. That's how good Crawford is, right? Crawford is a badass, man. right now on paper, technically speaking, the best 154 guy. I would even pick Crawford to beat a guy like Bakram Murtazaliev. That's how good Crawford is. And so now Crawford, kudos to him, man, wanting to challenge himself and go up to 168 against one of the badass mofos in boxing, right? Canelo Alvarez. Guys, what I mean by that, I don't. It's not because it's not doesn't mean I'm a Canelo diehard or Canelo super fan. Nah, man. I've been doing boxing for years, man. Canelo's got his technique, man. His shot placement is upper echelon eliteness, man. You know, you gotta recognize that stuff, man. So don't exaggerate. You know, David Benavidez, real gritty fighter, man. He's a peleador. He's a guerrero, as we say in Spanish, a warrior, bona fide warrior. He's not afraid to fight. Dimitri Bivol, not afraid to fight. Jay Opataya, not afraid to fight. Surdo Ramirez, Artur Beterbiev, Canelo Alvarez, these guys not afraid to fight, man. And what I mean by that, guys, because if you guys don't box yourselves, it's about the shot selection, the style, right? As I always say, man, Canelo going 12 rounds with Bivol, still going forward, man. These dudes are bona fide fighters. So what am I getting at? Crawford. Possibly. Yeah, Crawford's a bona fide fighter, man. He's now about to put it all on the line. I guess you could say that for Canelo Alvarez, but Crawford, man, I think Crawford's worst case scenario with Crawford, he'll probably maybe do like a Jermell Charlo performance, but I don't know. I think Canelo's thirsty. He might want to stop him, but that's months down the line. We don't got to talk about that fight. I'm not even big on that fight. If you guys know me, I'm not even big on the Skull fight. But shout outs to Munguia and Canelo, Bruno Suragi, Marco Verde, man. First boxers in history from the American continent, regardless of that they're Mexican, Canadian, whatever, German, Cuban. They're fighting at goddamn 6, 7 in the morning to do a Vegas time slot, time zone, showbiz appearance, right? For you guys. So shout outs to them. Who knows what they had to sacrifice? Who knows how much Bitcoin they got for that? Um, but anyways, Boots Ennis, man. I want to see Boots. Now my other mates, like this one cat named Jay, he's optimistic in saying that Boots Ennis can fight Ryan Garcia. They don't really cross my mind on that radar, but when I think about it, that fight could happen, right? Like for example, if Boots Ennis is consistent and not raising his guard and getting clipped at times, because I'm telling you guys, Ryan Garcia is a lot faster than Stanionis. A lot faster. And right now, probably more blown up, man, than a Stanionis. So shout outs to Mr. B, Mr. J, in that would be a good fight, man. Actually, Ryan Garcia versus Jaron Boots Ennis. Believe it or not, that's actually a pretty good fight. But we'll see after this card, right? This crazy Times Square fight, right? I believe obviously most of us got Garcia beating Romero. I'm picking Lopez to beat Barboza. It's going to be a good fight, by the way. And I got Jose Ramirez with the upset to beat Devin Haney. So that's a pretty good landscape right now for the underdogs at 147. As you know, Boots is the top dog at 147. But right now, if can you imagine if Boots were to go to 154, knowing that they're gonna stall and not do these unifications with Top Rank and PBC, which I don't blame those other companies to not want to unify. But if you were to go to 154, man, that would be such a good thing in boxing, man. 154 would be even more stacked. You might get new narratives that Virgil Ortiz might want Boots if he officially goes to 154. Everybody might want a piece of Boots at 154. You might get Excuse me, you might get now the PBC telling Tim Zoo, Keith Thurman affiliates, right? The PBC roster to start calling out Boots Ennis for 154 fights. So it's some good stuff in boxing, to be honest, but that's what I got right now for Boots Ennis. Let me know what you guys think, man. Do you think Boots should stay at 147 to really kind of entertain the idea for how long it can last at 147, right? Because he's gaining up in mass. But to entertain the idea to unify with a PBC fighter who most likely they're not gonna give up that belt, guys. PBC needs Amazon Prime to sell the fights. Props to them. I wish them best of luck to do as many fights as they can at 147. Or can Eddie Hearn really entice Norman Jr., the top ranked guys? It could be that PBC might hint to top rank, yo, don't release Norman Jr. for Matchroom. Don't do it because we can do Barrios versus Norman Jr. on Amazon Prime. So you got all these. I wouldn't say so much politics, but hey man, every business has their own hustle, right? So if PBC and the top rank do join up in September, props to them, and hopefully they can do that, man. But that's what I got right now for that, man. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Do you want Boots Ennis to go up to 154 and stay at 147? For me, I'll close and say this, that Boots Ennis is a top dog at 147. He's got nothing more to prove, man. Go up to 154. Don't worry about losing that O. I want to see greatness, man. Take risks. And I'll catch you guys another one for Al Cuerpo Boxing, which means to the body. And I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.